Hello. John here. Are we recording? Yeah. So third time lucky, trying to find the graveyard in Lismore, County Waterford. On the right here, you can't really see it, it's not great, but is the old Workhouse. So we headed south out of town, out of the village of Lismore, and we're just passing the Workhouse now on our right. And there's a rest home in there. It's an old folks home. And then coming up here on the right, there's the small little graveyard quarter for Lismore. And there's a funeral going on down in St. Cartage's down below. So I want to come in here because the burial ground for Lismore Workhouse, which was on the go around about 1847, is just here on the right. Just here on the right somewhere. I think it's in here behind us. So we'll go back here out of the way. Nice and tight. There's a funeral going on. See, that's going to start soon. What I'll do now is I'll disconnect this and we'll go into the graveyard and see can we find the that seems to be locked. That seems to be locked. Clickety click. Okay. There now. Okay. So I've only passed this before, I haven't been in here, but based on the map I think this is where the famine burials took place. If we go in here, what happens? So where we were yesterday was Youghal, and there's a workhouse in Youghal now knocked, and then I went down into the North Abbey cemetery looking for the potential famine graves. And here now today, there you can hear the funeral bells behind us. Here now today I'm after coming up to Lismore Poor Law Union, and there's an account of the famine in 1847, May 1847, in the Cork Examiner newspaper, and it recounts the excavation of what they call the monster grave, and up to 40 people being put into a single grave in the course of a week. And there's a couple, when you look at the maps, I think it's in here that we can see the grave, and in fact this place is very well looked, but I think from here to there, that's potentially our linear grave, from there to there, and they're running that way. Potentially what we have here is an Irish yew. What do? We hit him twice. That goes there. Sorry now for this. And an Irish yew there at one end and an Irish yew at the other end. And I have half a suspicion. I'm walking along, it looks like a raised path here now. I have a half a suspicion that the Irish yews, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, were planted to demarcate this famine burial ground. And it's here on our left, I think. If we look back over here, there's darker, but I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what? It could well be that this whole area, if I pan around now, look at that beautiful Irish yew. That area there, from Google Earth, I think we can see that linear grave, trench grave. There's potentially another one there, And then the area over there is big enough to take other graves, maybe singles, maybe trenches, we'll have to see. This is a site we'll try and get the LiDAR for, and we'll try and do the analysis to see can we spot non-invasively the signs of the grave. So we're about 20 miles north of the graveyard we were at yesterday in North Abbey in Youghal. We're northwest of Pulla Graveyard, which is part of the Dungarvan Poor Law Union, where we've got that 2.5 acre site filled with graves. And this then I think is this is one of our Black 47 grave sites, and probably here. There's a very good account in that Cork Examiner article that I'll get to on a different video. And just looking at this here, look at the size of those trees. I'm wondering, can we date them back potentially to the period of the famine? He looks like he's been coppice sort of, and the others are there. They're not the fastigiata, which is that Fermanagh sport of the Irish ewe. I wonder where they got these from. Are there local yew trees, and these are part of their genetic stock? Anyway, this is my first visit to try to get my eye in here and see how clear these graves are. There's definitely an edge there, which is the edge of the path, and then I think with the eye of fate I'm seeing the back edge of a trench grave there. There's a funeral coming this way in a minute, so what I'm going to do is, well, in half an hour I might just avoid it. So this extends into the cemetery. I think the older graveyard is over there, and then the St. Cartridge's cemetery is here all beyond us. Fantastic tree. You hear the crows, we live here. Am I seeing there's a potential cut there? Is there? Yeah. What's interesting in the Cork Examiner account is that they do give a burial rate for the week, and we can use that maybe for estimating other burial rates in other parts of the country. Not sure they're graves. Looks to me more like, I'm not sure. Okay, now looking here, getting our eye in, potentially what we're seeing is a rake of single graves here. All these deeper bits. Okay, when you come over and have a look, I think we have rows of single graves all along here. So, could be very similar to what we saw in Pulla. There might be an early phase of overwhelm, the 1847 period, where we get trench graves, and then later on, if the workhouse continued in use, this would be a burial area where the Poor Law Union would have buried people individually in individual graves. Do you know what? I'd raise the possibility that each one of these are single little graves, probably post the Great Famine. Can you see them, those tufts? I think what's supporting that hypothesis that they're graves is that they're very linear, they're in rows running along that way. And the whole place is covered. So what's that, 5, 10, 15, 20, it's about 40 metres by 80 metres. The whole thing's just covered in single graves. And then potentially the two yew trees there are spanning that area inside, which is potentially where the trench grave is. Okay, alright, that was surprising in terms of, because when I looked at these on Google Earth, I wasn't seeing these single graves. I'm not 100% married to the fact that they are single graves now, but I think there's a strong possibility that they are. Alright, I'll leave that over there for now, and head on and do my Saturday chores, my Saturday jobs. Over and out.